This is building your first website. Thanks so much for joining. My name is Wade, and I'll be your guide for the class today. So objectives for today is to understand the benefits of having a website, know the steps for planning and building a website. And finally, what we're going to do is review some of the most popular website builder software packages. You'll know what that means by the time we get there, and wrap up the class with a short demo of one of those website builder packages, which hopefully will take some of the more conceptual material we'll cover early in the class, make it a little more concrete. So let's get started. Why does my organization need a website? And I use the word organization there intentionally because it could be a for-profit business. It could be a not-for-profit organization, a religious organization. Lots of different types of organizations need and use a website. And probably one of the biggest reasons is to add legitimacy to your organization. These days, if someone hears about a business or an organization, the first thing they do is Google it to try and find their website. And if they don't find one, it may leave an impression that maybe it's not a legitimate organization. So that's a good reason to have one all by itself. Of course, it's also a great way to display your products if you sell products, or define your services if you are a service organization. You can also sell and or promote your business and organization from home, which is nice these days. And it's a great way to tie social media sites together into your website. So if you have a Facebook business page, which everyone should have, again, for-profit and not-for-profit. They're free and easy to do. You can link your Facebook page to your website. And then if you add additional social media sites like Instagram or Twitter or any of the other ones, you can link those to your website as well. It's a good way to move traffic back and forth. Someone that finds you on Facebook, they can get to your website. Someone finds you on your website, they can get to your Facebook page, etc. And finally, it's just the reach. You probably remember, like I do, when you were starting a business way back when, you would put up flyers around town and put an ad in the local classified pages of your newspaper. Now you can literally reach thousands of people all over the world via a website. What we're going to do next is talk about 4 different types of website and take a look at some examples. The purpose here is to show you some different websites, give you ideas of things you might want to include in your website, so that when you get ready to build it, or if you already have one and you're looking at tweaking it, hopefully you'll have some ideas of things that you can use. We're going to start with probably the most popular type of website, an e-commerce website. And basically, an e-commerce website is any website where people visiting your website can directly purchase products. So if a website's got a shopping cart and a way to give a credit card, then it is an e-commerce website. And we're going to take a look at one that is a local business. It is here in Southport, North Carolina, where I live. And it's a business called Tail Feathers. And we'll talk a little bit about their website. It's a very modest website, one that would be very easy for anyone to develop and maintain. First thing you notice probably is they've got their email address and their phone number front and center. You do want to always make sure you've got ways for people to contact you if they're on your website. Several different ways to do that. We'll look at some different ways it's done, but they put it right here just on their homepage. Puts their name. Here's a link to their Facebook page. We were talking about linking your social media to your website. So if someone's on the website, they want to go to their Facebook page, they can click here and it takes you to their website or their Facebook page. If somebody happens to find them on Facebook, they can click here to go back to their website. So it basically ties things together. What most people do is use their Facebook page for announcements, sales, specials, new items that they have, because it's much easier to update and change your Facebook page than it is your website, and then drive people back to the website to purchase items. As we scroll down, they tell you a little bit about who they are and what they do. They sell unique hand-painted vintage furniture and accessories. They do have a physical store, and here's a picture of their store. This is a great idea, I think, if you do have a physical presence. That way, if someone's driving down the street trying to find you, they know what your site looks like instead of just trying to find that street number on the side of the building. They've also got their street address and their hours of operation. In terms of being able to contact them, they have additional ways to do that. They can click here, and this, I think, yes, opens up an email. So you can send them an email. It's already got their address in there. Or you can come down here and fill out this form. There's several different variations of these Insight inline forms where you can just fill in your information, type your message here, and hit submit. This, I think, is another variation of that. It is. So you can put your name, your email, your message, and submit. If anything, they may slightly overdo the contact, but it's probably better to do too much than too little. So this is their homepage. The other page is their shop. Even though it's a physical store, they do sell things over their web's page. And there it comes, coming up a little slow. But these are items you can buy over the internet from them. And from here, it works a little bit like Amazon. So if you're looking at this Coral Reef liquid soap and you wanted to buy that, you can go here and go to their detail page to get a little more information about it. You could add additional pictures and a little more description. They keep it fairly simple, but if I decide I want to buy this, I can add it to my cart. And that puts it in my cart and I can keep shopping. You can tell I've been here at several other classes and been putting things in my cart. But if I want to keep shopping, I can go ahead and do that, just like on Amazon. When I'm done, I could come up here and click on my cart, see what's in my cart. I can view my cart, adjust the totals. If I'm ready to check out, I can go ahead and pay with PayPal as their preferred source, but they have some other payment options as well. Questions about tail feathers?
No,
very simple.
Wait, I do have a question. Does creating websites, are you going to go over just creating one, not necessarily for shopping?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
That's where we're going next. So this was the first one. This is an e-commerce website. The second type is a not-for-profit website. And
Wait,
that could include, yes.
I'm sorry, it's Deborah. Can you tell me, do you have any idea how what platform that website was built?
I do not. Some of them actually have it down in the bottom. It says built by. That one does not. So I'm not sure what they used for that one.
Thank you.
There are a lot of them out there. So next thing we want to talk about is not-for-profit. So this could be any type of not-for-profit, including religious organizations, but lots of different not-for-profits have websites. And most of the things we talked about in the Tail Feathers website apply also to not-for-profit websites, but there are a few things that are unique to not-for-profit that we're going to stress in this one. And that's providing a way for people to donate money or merchandise to your organization, and also how they can volunteer to help you, because those are two things that are critical for any not-for-profit. They need help from people out there to keep their organization going. So we're going to look at Bald Head Island Conservancy. Bald Head Island is a small island right off the coast of North Carolina where I live. And this is the Bald Head Island Conservancy. A little bigger organization, a little more sophisticated website, but it does do a good job of explaining those two things I was talking about, because one thing you see front and center here is donate. So if someone wants to donate to them, they make it very easy. I can just click here and it takes me to a page where I can say where I want my money to apply. I can select one or more of those items. I can put in my contact information. I can put in my credit card number and hit donate now. And I've donated to them via credit card from their website. Very quick and easy. The other thing we talked about is helping people that would like to volunteer and help out in that way. And they have a whole section here of how to help. So again, you can give to their annual fund, so another way to donate. But one of the options here is to volunteer. So if you click here, it talks about becoming a volunteer. It talks about the different ways you can volunteer. Do you want to help with education, event planning, and working with their retail and marketing? They have a store, their own site. And whichever one you want to help with, you click here, and then you can fill out the volunteer form online. So again, very easy to add in those things. They've got the other things that we talked about before. They've got links here to not only their Facebook page, but they got a Twitter account and a Instagram account, YouTube channel, Pinterest account. So lots of different links, but it works just like it did with Tail Feathers. Questions about this one? Okay, let's keep going. I don't want to spend too much time on these, but I want to give you some ideas about the different types of websites, but also some things they're doing. You'll see some differences. Hopefully you'll get ideas that you might want to include in your website. We're going to talk about service websites next, and there's two variations of websites for service organizations. The first is service site with portfolio. Services are at a disadvantage to begin with because they can't show you what they're selling. But depending on what your service is, you can maybe show pictures of your work that you've done for other people. That's what a portfolio does. So if you're a landscape architect, if you do custom jewelry, custom pottery, anything you can show examples of your work, you would use a portfolio website. So we're going to show you snapshot photography because it falls in that category. They can't show me what the pictures they're going to take from me will look like, but they can show me what they've done for other clients. Again, this is a local husband and wife photography business here in Southport. One thing that they have, which I like a lot, and certainly for services, it's mandatory, I think, but it's good for any website, is About Us, which is where they take some time to tell you about them. If it's services, you're going to be working with these people, especially with something like photography. You're going to work in very closely with them. You want to know a little bit about them before you decide to sign up with them. Even before you call them, this is a way to get an idea about them. They talk about themselves, her vision. It's a husband and wife team, his vision. They have some fun facts about themselves. So it's just a nice way. So an About Us page is a nice page for any small business, especially. And then Contact Us. They use, instead of putting their contact information throughout the website like Tail Feathers did, they put it in one place, but with the link prominent at the very top. So here's their phone number, and they actually suggest that you text them instead of calling. Plus, they're probably busy taking pictures and they're not going to answer the phone, but you can send them a text and they'll get back to you. You can email them directly, or you can fill out the in-page form and submit your question or comment there. So I like both of these pages, Contact Us and About Us. They have a blog. Blogs are like little magazine articles that you can write and put on your website. So they use some blogging. Again, it's a way just to form a relationship with your existing clients, because they may become clients again, or to help get new clients. And here's the portfolio. This is the main thing that distinguishes this type of website. If you go to their portfolio, you can see pictures they've taken for other families. So you can come here to the St. Clair family and look at some of the pictures they took for that family. Gives you an idea of the type of pictures they use. You can tell we're close to the beach, so they do a lot of beach photography. Not exclusively beach photography, but it's pretty prominent in their pictures. But it's a nice way to get an idea what their pictures look like before you actually even contact them to get more information. And of course, they have a pricing page as well. Questions about this one? Okay, one more. And we'll go over this one pretty quickly, but this is the other variation. This is a professional services website. Professional services is probably at the least advantageous area because they can't even show you pictures of what they do. Professional services is things like accountants, engineers, lawyers, therapists. So I'll show you an example here. And this is a local therapist, again, here in Southport. Very nice website, though. I like her website a lot. She's got a blog, like we looked at before. She's got the about, where she tells you about her. She actually talks about the type of therapy she does first, but then she talks about her. She does her social media slightly differently. This is kind of in a little floating bar here, which is always in front of you instead of being at the very top of the page. Lots of different variations on a theme. She's got a contact us page where you can call, you can schedule an appointment. Professional services typically requires an appointment, so you can schedule online, or again, she puts her phone number and email if you'd rather do it via phone or email. As part of the about, she also has testimonials. These are great for any business, but especially professional services. They can't show you what they've done for other clients, but they can have other clients talk about the services that she provides. And so that's a great way. And this is a nice way she does hers. Just has a heading with a little bit of information that you can click learn more to see the entire testimony that they did for her. And there's a couple of pages of them. So that's testimonials. And finally, this is especially good for professional services, but not a bad idea for any type of business. Frequently asked questions, especially if you're constantly getting the same question, either via email or phone. Put it on your website. That way they can get the answers directly without having to contact you and you keep giving them the same answer over and over. What should I expect in my first session? There's probably especially lots of questions for professional services because lots of times we've never used a therapist or an accountant or an architect. So it provides, she knows the questions that are typically asked and puts the answers on her website. So those are just some examples of the different types of websites, commonalities, differences. The question becomes at this point, can I really build my own website? And of course, you know, the answer is, of course you can. The good news now, you don't need to know how to code to develop a website. When I developed my first website, probably 15 years ago, you did, but now you don't need to know anything about coding and you don't really need to know anything about design. You don't have to have a good feel for colors and layouts and fonts and things. And we'll talk about how we get around that in a minute. Website builder software gets you a nice professional looking website with minimal effort. And the way they do that is by using templates. And you're probably familiar with templates from using things like Word or Excel or PowerPoint. Templates are pre-formatted websites. So you can basically just go in and change the boilerplate text, change the boilerplate pictures, and have a very nice looking website with minimal effort, no coding, no design expertise. And I'll demo one of those before the class is over. So what do you need to build a website? And there's a number of things you need. You don't have to do it explicitly in this order, but these are all things that have to be taken care of. I'll go over the cost for the website builders a little bit later as well. Thanks, Andrew. You have to have a domain name. That's how people get to your website. So for example, the website we were just looking at, the domain name is southportfamilytherapy.com. So that's her domain name. That's how you get to her website, is by typing this in the address bar up here. There's two variations. You can actually have a custom domain name, which is what she has up there. I used to have a business called eaglespringsfarm.net. So that was my domain name. You do have to pay for these. They range anywhere from $20 to $70 a year. Not a huge cost, but a cost. Most of the website builders have an option to get a free subdomain name. So they'll basically let you tack on your business to their domain name. So if I used a website builder called Squarespace, their domain name is squarespace.com, but I could tack on my business in front of it. That makes it a subdomain. And they would let me use that at no cost if I'm using their product. Doesn't look as nice on your business card as eaglespringsfarm.net, but it's free. So if it's a not-for-profit or you're just getting started and every dollar counts, that's an option. You have to have a hosting provider. And I usually describe that as your IT shop. Your hosting provider has the computers and the expertise to host your website, serve up your web page when somebody types your domain name into the address bar. So that's what a hosting provider does. And finally, you need the website builder software I've been talking about. That's how you go in and build your website, modify your website, add products, add information. Luckily, there are now what are called all-in-one website builders. And what they do is they bundle all this together. So they will help you get and maintain your domain name. They will handle the website hosting, and they'll provide the software to build your website. So instead of having to deal with 3 different organizations, you only have to deal with one, which certainly makes it simpler. All the ones we're going to talk about today are all-in-one website builders. Once you've made this decision, and this is the biggest decision in this case, you pick your template, which is the next big decision. Which template do you want to use? And then you just start creating your content, putting in your words, putting in your pictures, building your website using that template. And again, I'm going to demo that for you as well. Okay. If you have questions, feel free to stop and ask me. When you're selecting that website builder, there's a couple of considerations. Probably the most important one is ease of building versus customization ability. And this is really a continuum, with easy to build on this side of the continuum and lots of customization ability over here and lots of stops in between. Ease of building would be someone that wants to just take a template, plug in their information and use it. They don't want to spend a lot of time on design and fonts and effort, versus somebody that has in their mind exactly what they want their website to look like and how they want it to work. So they want to have a website builder that will let them build their vision. And again, as I said, lots of stops in between, but this is one way to evaluate website builder products, is based on where you fall in that continuum. And of course, price is also always an issue. And a couple of things you have to understand in terms of understanding what it's going to cost you. One thing is that some of the website builders have something called ad supported. Sometimes they're called unlimited free trial with ads. And that basically means they don't charge you anything if you let them put ads on your website. So again, if money is an issue, that's a way to get the website builder at no cost as well, just by letting them put advertisements on your website. Now, that's one thing you'll need to look at. to see what that ad is going to look like before you agree to that option. They're typically ads just for themselves. So if you're using Wix, it would be an ad for Wix, and they're usually pretty tasteful, but I would want to see what they're going to put on there before I signed up with them. The other thing about all of these packages is they're based on tiers. And this is kind of like your cell phone products. So when you get your cell phone, there's various tiers that you can get based on whether you want unlimited data or limited data and how much data you're going to have and those sorts of things. The website builders work the same way. And I'm going to click into one called Wix, which is one of the top website builders, and show you what I mean. So here they actually break it into 3 different major groupings, and within each grouping, they've got different plans. So they start at $16 a month for personal use, and then they go up to $45 a month for their VIP product. And what I like, which kind of give you the idea of what I'm talking about, is they list the different features, and you can tell that all of them have these features. How much storage space you get varies. So if you need a lot of storage space, you're going to need something bigger. But then these features only come with that plan. These features only come with the higher cost plans. So very much like selecting your cellular phone plan. Like your cellular plan, one nice thing about these is you can start typically with this cheapest one. And if you decide you need a feature down here, or you need more than 2 gigabytes of space, you can just bump up to the next level plan without having to call sales and talk to somebody while you're online. You can click a link saying, upgrade my plan, just like you can with your cell phone plan. And you're now bumped up from the combo plan to the unlimited plan. Questions about that? Make one comment here. I was mentioning the free with ads option. That typically only applies to the entry-level plan. You're not going to get this VIP plan free with advertisements. So as you grow beyond what you can do with their entry-level plan, you're probably going to have to start paying. If you can survive here and you're willing to let them put ads on your website, you can probably stay in that free category. Okay, let's keep going if there's no questions there. And let's talk a little bit about the different website builders. We've been talking about them, mentioned a couple of names already. This is from a website that reviews website builders. I'm going to send you a link to this article, and I'm going to send you links to another one or two that review the different website builders, because that's really your homework, and that's probably the biggest thing you have to do is to pick which one you want to use. But I like this summary that this writer did. So we're going to use that to kind of talk a little bit about the different features you may want to compare and define some of these terms you may not be familiar with. So for example, this particular reviewer said that Wix, they thought, was the best overall website builder, and certainly the best for free. And by free, they mean unlimited with ads. And the starting price here is $13 a month. And you'll notice the starting price doesn't vary dramatically. When you get to the bottom, there's some variation, but most of these are coming in that $13 plus or minus 2 range. This evaluator thought that Squarespace had the best prepackaged designs. And by prepackaged designs, that's what I'm calling the templates. Pretty common comment about Squarespace. They have very nice templates. So if that's an important feature for you, you may want to look at Squarespace. They don't do the free unlimited, but they do give you 14 days to try out their product before you have to pay anything. And I know for Squarespace, this is the case. I think it's probably true for most of them. It's not one of those things where you give them a credit card number, and if you forget to cancel after 14 days, they hit your credit card. With most of these, you don't even give them your credit card until you've done the trial and you say, okay, I'm ready to go. And that is usually when you're ready to put it live. With all of these, you start building it offline. You're building it where only you can see it. But then when you're ready to say, okay, open it up to the web so anybody can find my website, that's when you would have to start paying. Even if you're ready to do that 10 days into your 14-day free trial, when you take it live, you're going to probably have to start paying. Again, could be variations from vendor to vendor. These are some of the things you'd want to check and verify. Easiest to use. They think Weebly is the easiest to use. Again, pretty common comment about Weebly. So if you're thinking about that ease of building versus customization ability, Weebly is pretty far over there on the left-hand side. So if you really want something that's simple to set up, simple to maintain, you're not real picky about colors and fonts, this is a good option. It does have the unlimited with ads, price right in line with the others. Doodah is sort of at the other end of that continuum we talked about. This reviewer said that they had the most customization capabilities of the products they reviewed. They provide a 30-day free trial. And you can hopefully tell from the demo, you can easily get a feel for a product, even in a couple of days. You could certainly build a product within 2 weeks, very easily in 30 days. So you've got time to try these out. And one thing you can't tell without trying them is if they make sense to you, because they all do the same things, but they do it differently. So for me, maybe Weebly makes perfect sense. I really like it. For you, it looks weird and it doesn't make any sense to you, whereas you think Wix works much better for you. So you may have to try a couple of these, and don't be afraid to start out with one. And if it's just feeling hard, try a different one, because all it costs you is the time that you spent evaluating the first one, which was valuable because you learned about website building anyway. So don't think you've got to stick with the first one you pick, because none of them make you pay anything up front. They've all got some type of a free trial. Now they have another category, which is a little confusing, easiest to use versus no frills options, but they've got one called no frills options. Again, over to the left-hand side of that continuum we've been talking about, and that's GoDaddy. And you may remember GoDaddy from our previous slide. They're one of the hosting providers. GoDaddy and HostGator are two of the more famous ones. So they do the hosting. They're your IT shop, but they also provide website builder option as well. So that kind of makes GoDaddy nice in that sense. Also provide a 30-day free trial. The cheapest of the list so far, but not a big difference. WordPress is interesting. WordPress has been around forever. They're probably half the websites out there on the internet are built with WordPress. So it's a good, safe solution. They've been out there forever. They're sometimes I think they look a little like they've been around for a long time. Some of the comments I've seen is that they're not as easy to use maybe as Wix or Squarespace or Weebly, which are a lot newer. This particular evaluator thinks that WordPress is a good choice for writers and bloggers. So if you're coming at it from that direction, maybe you just want to have your own blog, or maybe you're doing something personal in nature. If you're doing vlogging, those sorts of things, it's a good choice. It does have the unlimited with ads, and it also is the cheapest at $5. The last two probably aren't something you would pick when you're first starting out. These are for big e-commerce sites. And you can do e-commerce on any of these. So if I was selling products and I had 300 different products I'm selling, I'd have no problem using any one of these. If I've got 3,000 products and I do international shipping and I do lots of specials and I want to do all sorts of financing options, now you're into the Shopify or BigCommerce range. And the price kind of reflects that. There is a significant difference between these two and the rest of the pack. But if that's your aspiration, if you want to set up a large e-commerce business, that might be the place to start. Questions? Okay. If there's no question, let me see. So Sandra's asking if you're an artist and selling porcelain art. Any of these, I think, would work well for that, because it's something it is a type of e-commerce because you're selling things. I'm assuming you're going to want people to be able to buy it over the internet, and you would ship it to them. So that definitely would put you into the e-commerce category. But these, as I said, these all will do e-commerce. So I think it's probably more which one makes sense to you and which one has templates that you like than anything else in making that decision. So let's, yes, let's go to the demo. We've got 10 minutes or so here, a little more for the demo, which is good because hopefully the demo is going to make a lot of things we talked about make a little more sense by seeing it. Let me start out by saying this is a demo of, we're going to do Squarespace. It's not a recommendation for Squarespace. This isn't meant to be a Squarespace tutorial. I'm going to use Squarespace to show you what they all do, because everything Squarespace does pretty much, especially the things I'm going to show you, which are the basics, they all do it. They may do it differently in terms of how they do it, but they're all going to do the same thing. So this is really to talk about the functionality available in all of these products. So I'm going to go to Squarespace. And one thing I want to mention is resources. All of these products assume that you're not an expert, and they provide lots of training, tutorials, videos. So in their case, you can come down here to the Help Center and find all sorts of information, depending on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to do scheduling of appointments, or if you want to do e-commerce, lots of information, videos, etc. So they're there to help you out. They don't assume that you're an expert at this. They assume you're a novice. So look for that resources tab and go there. I'm going to start with products because I want to talk a little bit more about that domain name. So most often you don't have a domain when you're starting this process. If you happen to have one, you can transfer it in. Your website builder's got to have your domain name, obviously. So if you've got one, you can transfer it. But if you don't have one, this is where I was saying, as part of that all-in-one package, they will help you find a domain name and acquire it. And it's very simple. All you do is type your business's name in here. So I said I had a business called Eagle Springs Farm. I'm going to use that as an example. So I type in Eagle Springs Farm, and it shows me the domain names that I could use. The one I would probably want is eaglespringsfarm.com. Somebody has that one. It's not available, but I have a lot of other options. I could do eaglespringsfarm.net. That is actually the one that I had when I had that website. When I discontinued that business, that name went back into the pool for someone else to use. It's $20 a year if you wanted to go with that one. This is an option that wasn't there when I had mine. I probably would have gone for that one if I had. eaglesprings.farm, a little shorter. I like that one, but it's also more expensive, $50 a year. So you can scroll through. Way back when, everything that had to do with commerce was a .com. Now you can pretty much use anything that you want. There's a few that are still reserved, like .edu is just for educational organizations, .gov is just for government. Those options won't be in here, but anything in here you could use for any organization. Now, some of them may not make sense. So for example, these are real estate related. So if you had a leasing company, you could call it EcoSpringsFarm.lease or EcoSpringsFarm.condos. If you don't like any of those, you can keep loading and get more and more and more.
Wow.
And the prices range from $20 to $70. That's an annual subscription. If you find the one you want, all you have to do is put it in your cart and pay for it. And Squarespace will then take care of everything for you, as will all the others. They'll go out to the domain registry, register it, put it in your name. They'll remind you a year from now that it's time to renew your registration if you want to keep that same domain name. If you say you do, give them their $50 again, and they'll set you up for another year. So they take some of the hassle out of getting and maintaining your domain name. So let's go to templates next. I've been talking about.
Wait,
Yes.
please check the chat.
Okay, I talked to the one already about porcelain. Was there something else we missed? Oh, I think we covered that. I mean, comparing it to eBay and Etsy, that's where you're just selling. That's not a website. It's probably easier to do it through eBay or Etsy, but they're taking a cut, which if you sold it yourself, you wouldn't have to be paying them. So they're really very different approaches to the same thing of selling things online.
It's Deborah. If you get Squarespace, you register then your URL with them or your website address with them. And then you decide that you don't, you found something else that you want to try out and you want to transfer that domain name. How is that done?
Well, you don't have to select the domain name until you've done the trial. So if you want, so that's probably one of the latter things you would do in that list of things. But if you did go ahead and get a domain name from them and then you decided to switch, you would go to whichever one, go to Wix, and under products, they would have an option to transfer your domain. Okay. So that's how you could transfer your domain from Squarespace to Wix.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. All right. I'm going to go into templates because this is really the heart and soul. I want to make sure we have time to go over these a little bit. And you could just jump down here and start looking at templates. And there are a lot of them, tons and tons of them. So what they do is they help you find things that are probably more relevant for you by selecting what type of business you've got. So if you are in the photography business, we saw a photography website, you might click here and it would show you templates that are a good match for photographers. So this is just a tool that they've got, to help you find what you're looking for. We talked about not-for-profits. These are community and nonprofits. So these are websites that would be useful if you're in that category. And when you're looking at one that you think might be interesting, may be a good fit for you, you can just click on it and do a preview. So you can kind of see what it looks like, see the other pages that come with the template. You could even view a full demo of it. I'm going to grab one today, and since I want to show you what an e-commerce site will look like, I'm going to do an online store. So I'm going to say, show me templates that are a good fit for an online store. And again, you can see if I was selling clothes, that might be a good start. If I was selling dog products, Wesley might be a good one to pick. The hypothetical store we're going to do today is a produce store. So I'm looking for something that would probably be good for produce. This looks like it might be it. So I'm going to try this one. So I'm going to start with Hester. Hester's the name of the template. So it's copying that template into my workspace where I'm going to start trying this out. It asked me what title do I want my website to have, and we'll call it Southport Organic Produce. And hit continue. And it's going to go through some more training and education here. I'm going to skip through these pages quickly, but they kind of talk you through your next steps. And I'm going to fast forward to where you actually start building. So now they've set up my workspace. They copied the template in. Only thing they've changed is they put my name here. So if I'm ready to start editing, I just click edit. And I don't like pickle perfection. So I'm going to change that. All I have to do is just delete their boilerplate text and say a fresh organic produce. And so this kind of gets into what we were talking about in terms of ease of building versus customization ability. If I don't want to do a whole lot of design work, I'm going to keep the fonts that they've picked. I'm going to keep the font sizes. I'm going to keep where they put the description. And I'm just going to change their words with my words. But I also want to change their pictures for my pictures because I don't like this picture and I hate that color background. That's pretty easy as well. I'm going to click here and say edit the selection. I'm going to say I want to change the background and I want to replace that picture. I can upload something from my device if I've got a picture. I don't. I'm going to go out and browse stock images. And they also break it into two categories for me, free images. So these are ones I can use at no cost. These look nicer, but I'm going to have to pay someone to use their pictures. I'm cheap, so I'll use the free ones. I just type what I'm looking for. Produce is what I'm looking for. So I click produce and hit enter, and it shows me pictures of produce that I can use on my website at no charge. So I just kind of scroll through and see what I want to use. And I've never used this one before. This one looks kind of interesting. So let's pick that one. So I just say add that image. It's going to upload that image and replace this one with that one. Takes a few seconds for it to upload. But again, there you go. And I think it looks much better than what they had before. You can keep going, making other changes here. I'm going to stop for now because hopefully you're kind of getting the idea. I can say I'm done for now and save my changes. One thing that's kind of nice, and most of them work this way, if you make a bunch of changes and say, gosh, I really messed this thing up, I want to put it back like it was, I just discard all my changes, leave it like it was before. But I like my changes, so I'm going to save them. So I've now changed my home page. So that's my new home page. No IT tech requirements, no design background needed. Let's go to pages. We talked about pages. And these are the pages that come with this particular template. I'm going to go to our story very quickly because I talked about that. That's the same as about us, our story, just to show you how quick and easy this one would be. So I would come here. I'd say I want to edit this. And I would just come down here and delete this boilerplate text and replace it with my text. I just tell my story. I can get rid of this stuff down here because this is all just boilerplate. I'll type in my story and maybe even change that to be my story if it's just me. But I'm keeping the same fonts. I'm keeping the font sizes. You can do some additional work if I do want to change the font, or if I want to change the alignment, if I want to add bullet points, I can do any of those things. But if I want to keep it really simple, I can just replace their text with my text, their pictures with my pictures. I'm done. I can save my changes. And now I've changed that web page. I'm going to go up to the shop and show changes. Please, if you have questions, go ahead and unmute and ask. But in case you do want to do e-commerce, I want to kind of show you how that works. And it's pretty simple, works the same way. They give me a starter set of products, which I'm not going to use. I'd go in and delete these and replace them with my products. I may want to go in there and edit what they've got if it's pretty close to what I've got. Change the name, change the picture. I'm going to just start from scratch and add a new product from scratch. So I'm going to click here on the plus sign and ask me, what am I selling? Is it something physical, something that I'm downloading? Is it a gift card I'm selling? In this case, I'm selling physical produce. I can add a product name. Pickles. I can add an image. So I can click here and it'll take me to File Explorer on my computer where I can go and look for pictures. I got some pictures somewhere. Let me see if I can find something that works. Oh, there you go. Here's some pickles right there.
Wait, this is still Squarespace, right?
Yep, this is Squarespace.
Okay, because when you first started the e-commerce, it said you're able to import from Etsy in the upper right-hand corner, one of the pages.
I didn't notice that, but you probably can. I didn't see that, but I wouldn't be surprised if you could import something from someplace else. If you had products out on Etsy, you could bring them into here. Yep. I'm not an expert on Squarespace. I've never built a website with Squarespace. Like I said, it's just a demo to kind of show you how it works. Yeah. So I picked a picture, and there's my picture. And you can add additional pictures if you want to. They've changed this since last time I was here, so I'm kind of figuring this out as we go. But okay, here's where I can put in my price, and it's $4.99. And you can even, in a lot of cases, have it keep your inventory for you. So I could say I've got 12 jars of pickles, and here's all my details. Oh, here's what I was looking for. If I want to put them on sale, I can say I'm putting them on sale for $3.99. So when I'm done with this, I would just come up here and publish it. And now I've added a new item to my web page. Here it is, pickles, normally $4.99, on sale for $3.99. I can click it and go into details about that. So. Okay. So questions, as I said, I'm not an expert on this one. There we go. I'm back where I started. Does everybody kind of get an idea of the main thing I wanted to emphasize here is that it's just adding pictures, changing fonts, if that's all you want to do. If you want to get more detailed, you can go in and change the fonts, change where you're putting the type. That's that continuum. But what I kind of demoed was the far left part of the continuum, where it's really simple and easy to build. Any questions? And in the email after class, I'm going to have links to a couple of different demos, tutorials, where if you want to find out a little bit more about a couple of them before you choose one. I think I've got tutorials for Squarespace, Wix, and one other one. but we are just about out of time. So if there's no questions, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. So we talked about the different types of websites you might want to build. We talked about the steps involved in creating a website. Did a little review of the different website builder packages. And again, I'm going to have links to the review articles and how they work, and did a demo of one of them, just to kind of give you an idea of what I was talking about. So thanks for attending.